Hi, I'm Edie Hand, and welcome to Prescription for Healthy Lifestyles. And joining me is Dr. Daniel Potts. Hey, Danny.
Hey, Edie, how are you?
Doing fine.
Good.
You know, we've got a great show today. We've got music therapy, art therapy, cooking with the Colonel.
Absolutely, and that's good stuff.
Yes. So tell everybody a little bit about these wonderful women that's going to give us some art and music.
I certainly will. We've got food for the body and food for the soul coming up today. Art and music therapy are two kinds of what are called expressive arts therapies, and some others include dance and poetry. Art and music therapy are very important in treating individuals who have certain chronic illnesses. For instance, they can be very, very important for young children with autism all the way up to folks that have dementia or Alzheimer's disease. My dad benefited from both of these therapies very much. And so we've got two important ladies here today, Dr. Carol Prickett from the University of Alabama and Karen Gibbons from Birmingham, Alabama. She's an art therapist, Carol a music therapist, to talk to us about these therapies.
Well, and I want you to know we also have Colonel Paul who'll be cooking some Louisiana cooking in the kitchen. Stay with us.
You're watching Prescription for Healthy Lifestyles with Edie Hand and Dr. Daniel Potts. We'll be back in a moment.
If you woke up with pain this morning, you are not alone. Estimates are that nearly 1/3 of Americans will experience chronic pain at some point in their lives. Optimal Pain Control by Franklin Pharmacy works directly with your physician to create a pain cream for your unique needs. Our staff of pharmacists has over 30 years experience in compounding. OPC by Franklin Pharmacy's custom formulas are created for you to maximize pain relief while minimizing side effects. From minor aches to severe neuropathic pain, let us be your partner.
Enjoy the latest books from Edie Hand. A portion of sales benefit charities such as St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Visit www.ediehandfoundation.org or your local or online bookstore. Pick up your copies today. A Pocket Guide for the Alzheimer's Caregiver by Dr. Daniel Potts and his wife Ellen helps you understand this disease and get the best care possible. Go to alzpocketguide.com or any online bookstore for your copy. You're watching Prescription for Healthy Lifestyles with Edie Hand and Dr. Daniel Potts.
Welcome back to Prescription for Healthy Lifestyles. I'm Dr. Daniel Potts, and we're here with Edie Hand on our show, and today we are talking about music therapy and art therapy and their amazing benefits for individuals and families. To start out this segment of the program, we have a special guest, Dr. Carol Prickett. Welcome, Carol.
Thank you, Danny.
Dr. Prickett is the program director for the music therapy department at the University of Alabama. She is a highly decorated music therapist, if I should say so myself. She has won from the American Association of Music Therapy their Lifetime Achievement Award in 2009. Congratulations, as we've told you before. But let me tell you, Carol is not only a respected colleague, she is a trusted, wonderful friend. Carol and I have had the opportunity to sing together in the Birmingham Southern Alumni Choir for many years. I've had the opportunity to be friends with her family and she with mine. And Carol and her students helped my dad when he was struggling with Alzheimer's disease. And I'll always be grateful to her for that. Carol, welcome again to the show. And I guess we should start out by letting you tell us, what is music therapy?
Usually our official definition is that we are using music and music activities in the hands of a trained professional to bring about a positive change in behavior. And I do want to emphasize that this is not therapy for musicians, this is therapy for all people. The music therapist must be a very versatile musician, but we work with people at all different levels in a number of different kinds of healthcare and service agencies. People who have verbal skills, people who do not, people who have music skills, people who do not. Everything from newborn infants in the neonatal intensive care unit to older people in dementia or Alzheimer's situations or even in hospice settings. So we run the full lifetime gamut, always trying to use a music activity to address a non-music objective or therapeutic goal.
I was going to ask you, and I'm glad you mentioned it, you know, what if someone is not talented musically, but you addressed that. And actually with my dad, Carol and her students came in with my dad when he was both at a dementia daycare center and also in hospice. And they engaged this man who no longer could speak. And we didn't know he could sing. I mean, we didn't. But Carol and her students brought this out, and this man was actually singing. One of the last things he did was to sing hymns with the family.
Right.
And we'll always remember that. So there's stories I'm sure you could talk for hours about.
True.
Carol, tell us about the benefits of music therapy in an elderly population, in a population that is affected maybe by dementia and their caregivers. Tell us about that.
Well, certainly the older population is a growing population, and our ability to serve both well elderly people and people who have specific challenges related to aging, particularly memory problems and dementia issues. We're learning how to use music therapy as a tool. We've been a profession since the late 1940s. We know a lot about how to use it. We're not quite sure how it works neurologically. Our physician friends will tell us that in the near future. But we're able to engage people in an oral experience when in fact speech often doesn't affect them well. Sometimes people will get confused because they think because you hear music and you hear speech that it would be much the same thing. But we find that people respond differentially. We will see people perk up, we will see them come alive, and remember words to songs. Your dad was a great example. Remember words to songs when in fact sometimes the verbal skills and the verbal interactions are limited. That's also a gift to caregivers to be able to make music with their loved one in that kind of setting.
I'm glad you brought up caregivers, because caregivers of the elderly and folks with dementia really bear the brunt of this disease. It stresses people out, and they're often in a bad place. Talk to us a little bit about how music therapy can actually relieve the stress and bolster hope in individuals who are caregivers.
Right. We've had some interesting experiences doing some workshops in rural West Alabama through the agency Caring Days that both of us work with for caregivers and their stress management. We often find that people don't take time for themselves, and we work with them on relaxation exercises, music listening exercises, and basically pairing some special music time that's just your private time, your favorite tune, and letting that be your cue to sort of kick back and remember why you're doing what you need to do and to take care of yourself.
Is there a website where our viewers can go for more information about music therapy?
We always recommend the American Music Therapy Association website, which is www.musictherapy.org.
Carol, thank you so much for being on our show today. Do not go away, because we're going to talk with an art therapist, Karen Gibbons, about art therapy's benefits for you or your loved one.
You're watching Prescription for Healthy Lifestyles with Edie Hand and Dr. Daniel Potts. We'll be back in a moment.
This is Holly, or Miss Clemente as her students call her, and they call her often because she's always there for them. No problem is too big or too small, because to Holly, you can't teach someone if you don't connect with them, and you can't connect with someone unless you truly care for them. Sometimes success starts when you go the extra mile to make sure someone else gets ahead. Virginia College. Your success starts here.
Hi, I'm Sarah Evans here with friends Rollins and Kumar, who've been helping Children's of Alabama celebrate its 100th birthday. They're here for care at the Alabama Center for Childhood Cancer and Blood Disorders, the largest provider of cancer care for children and young adults in the state. At Children's, we treat every form of cancer, and we're committed to a cure. You can be too. Donate now so thousands of kids like Rollins and Kumar will celebrate lots of birthdays, including their own.
Hi, I'm Edie Hand.
And I'm Ronnie McDowell.
And I'm Georgette Jones.
Together, we'd love to ask you to support the Children's Miracle Network Children's Hospital.
That's right, Edie. Your local children's hospital provides state-of-the-art care, life-saving research, and preventative education for children 24 hours a day.
And we need your support to continue helping make life better for others. Just log on to childrensmiraclenetwork.org. We believe together we can have those miracles.
You're watching Prescription for Healthy Lifestyles with Edie Hand and Dr. Daniel Potts.
Welcome back to Prescription for Healthy Lifestyles. I'm Dr. Daniel Potts here with Edie Hand, and we're continuing our segment on music and art therapy and their benefits for individuals and families. I have with me today a special guest, Karen Gibbons, who is an art therapist living in Birmingham, Alabama. Welcome to the show, Karen.
Thank you, Danny. It's good to be here.
Karen and I have had the opportunity to work together, and I've gotten to see firsthand the benefits that Karen can give to individuals with Alzheimer's disease and their families through a program that she and I will tell you more about in a minute. And actually, I want to tell our viewers too that I have a personal experience with art and music therapy, as we talked about earlier, because my father had Alzheimer's disease and benefited so much from these therapies, and I know firsthand what they can do. Karen, welcome to the show again, and I want you to tell us a little bit about your background and how you got interested in art therapy.
Sure. My undergraduate is in computer science, so I was actually working for many years from the left part of my brain, you know, the more logical side.
Right.
And I was going through a tough time about 15 years ago, and someone suggested to me that I take up painting. And I thought, well, that's not really for me. I don't have any artistic talent, you know, I don't think that's it. But then one day, as things happened, I was in an art studio just viewing some art with a friend, and I saw a brochure on the table about taking up art for beginners. And I thought, I'm going to do that. And so I started painting, and I just enjoyed it so much. I started finding other art classes such as oil painting and acrylic, watercolor, sculpting, everything I could find, you know, get my hands on. And then that was, you know, using the right side of the brain, the creative side. But the logical side kicked in again and said, well, what's going on? Why do I choose certain colors? And why does it some days make me cry and really sad, and some days really happy feelings come up? And I wanted to learn more about it, so I started looking for materials. And I really wasn't finding what I was looking for until one day I saw in a magazine article about how art was used by hospitals to help heal patients. And it was called art therapy. And I said, that's it. And then I was living in Northern California at the time, and I saw that in my own backyard there at Notre Dame de Nemours University, there was this wonderful master's program that combined marriage and family therapy with a specialization in art therapy. And that launched a new career for me.
That is fascinating, and I think especially the combination of the therapy aspect, the psychological therapy aspect with the art is very, very important.
Right.
Can you tell us some of the benefits of art therapy?
Sure. You know, there are actually many definitions of art therapy, even amongst art therapists, but they generally fall into two categories. The first is the belief in the inherent healing power of the creative process, of just doing art. By making art, it's therapeutic. Okay, and then the other category, the big category, is the belief that art is a symbolic form of communication. So it helps us to express issues and concerns, emotions, conflicts. It's often very helpful in expressing something that's too difficult to put into words.
You know, Karen, one of the things that happened with my dad is with his Alzheimer's disease, he began to lose his language ability. He could not communicate to us like he used to. And this was a great source of frustration for him. It took away his connection with the world, so to speak. Describe for me how you think art therapy and how the creation of this art and this process helps individuals communicate with others again.
Well, the Alzheimer's is a very good example. So for instance, when I was working with your group of patients last semester, what we found is that, as you know, they don't have that much ready access to their short-term memory. And so it may be difficult for us to understand what's going on with them. And what came up in the art, as they gave title to the art and they gave us a story about the art, we heard stories about frustration and about being confused. And then when we brought up images and started talking about long-term memory, there was a lot of joy and pride in what they had accomplished in their life. So that's an example of how it helps one to communicate.
I met Karen on a project that we did at the University of Alabama with dementia patients, where she assisted them with this creation of this art. And it has had lasting benefits for caregivers. Karen, is there a website where individuals can get more information about certain things they can do at home, perhaps, with their loved ones?
Well, for art therapy itself, if you want to know more about it, you should go to the National Association of Art Therapy, which is arttherapy.org. Now, I found this great book. It's called The Art Therapy Source Book by art therapist Kathy Malchiotti. And this is for people that want to do something at home. They don't want to become an art therapist necessarily, or if they do, it gives you some more information about that.
Karen, we thank you so much for being on our show today, and we ask you to explore the power of art and music in your loved ones and for those with disabilities. Stay tuned for Prescription with Healthy Lifestyles when Edie Hand is going to come back and have some fun with Colonel Paul and some healthy ways to cook. Stay right there.
You're watching Prescription for Healthy Lifestyles with Edie Hand and Dr. Daniel Potts. We'll be back in a moment.
Sure, Toyota is #1 for everyone. But Scott Crump insists on more proof than just statistics. Yeah, the all-new redesigned 2012 Camry has more room, better fuel economy, and plenty more performance. And right now at Scott Crump Toyota, you too can drive the new Camry from just $199 a month. Did we mention better brakes? Visit Scott Crump Toyota in Jasper.
We'll do whatever it takes.
Enjoy the latest books from Edie Hand. A portion of sales benefit charities such as St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Visit www.ediehandfoundation.org or your local or online bookstore. Pick up your copies today. A Pocket Guide for the Alzheimer's Caregiver by Dr. Daniel Potts and his wife Ellen helps you understand this disease and get the best care possible. Go to alzpocketguide.com or any online bookstore for your copy.
If you woke up with pain this morning, you are not alone. Estimates are that nearly 1/3 of Americans will experience chronic pain at some point in their lives. Optimal Pain Control by Franklin Pharmacy works directly with your physician to create a pain cream for your unique needs. Our staff of pharmacists has over 30 years experience in compounding. OPC by Franklin Pharmacy's custom formulas are created for you to maximize pain relief while minimizing side effects. From minor aches to severe neuropathic pain, let us be your partner.
You're watching Prescription for Healthy Lifestyles with Edie Hand and Dr. Daniel Potts.
Hi, and welcome back to Prescription for Healthy Lifestyles with Edie Hand and Dr. Daniel Potts. We've been talking about music therapy and art therapy, things to do to make life better if you have a handicap situation. Well, joining me today in my kitchen is Colonel Paul.
Hey, bonjour, y'all. Moi aussi. It's nice to see y'all here. Thank you, Edie. It's good to be here, darling.
Well, I'm so excited. And, you know, we've been talking about things to make life better if you got a little handicap. And first of all, before we get into our cooking, I understand sometimes it's not so easy for you to see things.
No, I was born with congenital cataracts in both eyes, and I was blind in my right eye, and I'm extremely nearsighted. Been that way all my life, but it's never been able to stop me from doing anything that I wanted to do. It's just something that you have to deal with and just, you know, move on along and just keep going.
Well, I think what I love about you is you have the courage to explore, to do different things. My goodness, you have a master's degree in food history, and you're a smart guy.
Nothing ever stopped me from doing nothing, Edie. I want you to know, we just keep moving right along, doing what you got to do. That's
is that the best advice you think you could give someone that has a handicap with
yes,
situation?
Yes, I do. You know, the great thing about human beings is that we can adapt to whatever situation there is.
Right.
And no matter what's going on, you can just keep plugging at it and work with what you have. You go with what hands you've been dealt with.
I agree with that. I've lived with chronic illness most of my adult life.
That's right.
But as we get into this, we'll ask more questions. What are we going to start with first, and what are we cooking?
What are we cooking? Well, I'm doing a Louisiana Shrimp Stir-fry. And just for you, Edie, we're going to make this heart smart, okay?
Yeah, I got a good heart, but it needs to be smart.
You drug me here kicking and screaming to make it heart smart, but that's what we're going to do.
Leave out the butter.
Yeah, leave out the butter, absolutely, and put some wonderful things with. Well, I have a skillet that I've heated up here. And I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil, very, very heart smart oil, just a little bit.
Okay.
And to this, I am going to add some purple onions and some red, green, and yellow bell peppers.
What is that, one of each? That you
one of each. Yeah, one of each. And we're just going to stir that up. This is a very, very, very colorful dish and wonderfully good for you. Absolutely is. bell peppers are just filled with different vitamins and things. And the great thing, you want something with lots of color, nice varied color, because the different colors have different vitamins in it. So it's going to be very, very rich and just absolutely delicious to this.
What next do we put in it?
Well, the next thing we're going to put in is we're going to add some garlic. Oh, I love garlic. Look at this. Garlic is the world's most inexpensive and most effective known birth control device.
I can believe that.
Absolutely. You put enough of this in your food.
You're getting a little messy on me, but that's okay. You're known for that.
Yeah, well, I'm
but that's something else too.
I am.
You have never, even though in seeing things are kind of blurry to you, you still can pick out everything you need to do and do it professionally. I just want to give you a hands up for that.
Well, thank you, darling. I appreciate that. I'll put you on my Christmas card list.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much. That's right. You can't help. Thank you very much. Just stir off the
Well, Elvis would have put the butter in. Let me get this.
That's right. You stir, I dump. Dump and stir.
Dump and stir. I'm a good stirrer.
Tweedledee and Tweedledum. She's D, So there we go. Now, while you got this stirring up, we're going to add a few other things. I have some mushrooms.
Now, how many mushrooms do they put in?
This is about 5 or 6 mushrooms.
What I'm thinking is that medium-sized mushrooms. They look like it, or are they large?
Well, medium to large, just whatever size you like. Use whatever kind you like.
We're going to put this recipe, everybody, up on the screen so that everybody will have the recipe. And you've got a website. What's that website?
Yeah, it's ColonelPaul.com.
Okay.
Well, I have my own line of Cajun seasoning, which I happen to have right here. That's me on the label there. It's the only big sales pitch for you. It's the only Cajun seasoning made in Louisiana to come in mild, medium, or hot and spicy.
So what are we going to do with today? We're going to season it a little later?
Well, Edie, I knew you didn't like things that terribly hot, so I brought some of my mild here.
That's what I mean.
I got a little bit in the bowl. It's all natural, no MSG, no preservatives, lots of garlic, thyme, sweet basil. We're going to put just a little bit on here.
Just a sprinkle? Okay.
Yeah, put a little bit.
Did you take something before you came?
No, I don't want to tell you what I did before I came here now, just between you and me. But,
now, what's next?
Next, I'm going to add some walnuts. Walnuts are a superfood. They are packed with vitamins.
Well, I know they're a good brain food because Dr. Potts taught me that.
Very, very good. And it's going to add a nice, delightful little crunch here.
I'm just telling you, he's sorry he's not in this segment. But I grant you he'll be at the end of it.
Here, put some more garlic in. Why not? We love garlic. You can't have enough garlic. Oh, man, I want to know.
Be sure you feed your young daughters garlic.
That's right. Absolutely. You put enough of that in their food, you can sleep well at night. Don't have to worry about anything.
Okay. All right, Colonel. Now, what's the last of it?
Worcestershire sauce. Just a little bit in there, just like that,
Well, now, look. Here's what we're going to do. We stir this all up. Put the last ingredients in.
Stir that up. Last thing is we have some shrimp.
Okay.
There's some wonderful little shrimp here. Stir all this up and stir-fry that. Oh, darn, this is so good. This is so delicious.
Now, this is the last of it. How long do you cook it, Colonel, normally?
We just cook it till it's done, darling.
Till it's done?
About 5 minutes tops,
And then you put it on. Now, before I do it, tell me what we put this on a bed of rice.
We're going to put this on some brown basmati rice, which has a real nice nut-like flavor. Very, very wholesome. Oh, I get to stir. All right, so she's done. I'm stirring.
And then here I want to show our viewers the completed product, how beautiful that is. And you could also put a little wine in there.
Yeah, dump some of that in there.
A little wine in there and add it to it and to serve it. What a beautiful setup. And Colonel Paul, thank you so much for being a part of Prescription for Healthy Lifestyles. And know that you don't have to worry about handicaps. You can work with them and do great things for people.
You really can.
And thank you for joining us right here on Prescription for Healthy Lifestyles.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you.